Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's tutorial is all about covering up a pimple without wearing foundation. So there is no foundation at all involved in this tutorial. This is just how I cover up pimples every day. You can't see it on my face right now because it's covered. I'll give you a hint. It's right down here in this area. But again, if you are interested in seeing how I cover up my pimples with no foundation, then just keep watching. Alright everyone, so the pimple I'm going to be concealing today is this one right here. It's right down by my jawline. I don't know if you can see it that well with these bright lights. I don't know if it gets blurred out, but I promise there's a little pimple right down here. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump into how I conceal and like mistakes that I find. So the first thing that I tend to see people forgetting about is priming their skin. Sorry, there's a hair in front of my eye. Sorry if you saw that. But priming your skin is so important. It's that kind of barrier between your skin and your makeup, and it also gives your makeup something to latch onto rather than latching onto your skin, because we all know oils can break up face makeup, anything like that. So it's really important to prime your skin. The other thing that's kind of important, not super important in a primer, but later on we'll get into it. I'm going to go ahead and use a green primer just because I can. And if you look at a color wheel, green and red are on the opposite sides, meaning if you apply something green over something red, it'll kind of help to cancel that red color out, just because they're opposites. They cancel, you know? Like -5 + 5 is 0. There's nothing there. So I'm going to go ahead and use the NYX Photo Loving Primer. This is the Studio Perfect Primer, and it's the green one. And again, I'm doing this solely because I have a green primer, but a green primer is not going to make or break your pimple cover-up, so just keep that in mind, okay? So I'm just going to apply a little dab there. You really do not need a lot. And then what you're going to want to do is just use your finger to push it into your skin. You don't necessarily want to smear it around, just push it in. So this next step is a little bitty part of color correcting. I don't always color correct if I'm looking to cover up a pimple, but this is really helpful for what am I saying? This is really helpful for days when you're not wearing foundation but you want to cover up a pimple, because the foundation provides that extra layer of coverage, and today I'm not wearing foundation. I just have on concealer under my eyes and like some bronzer and stuff. And obviously eye makeup, but that's besides the point. So what I'm going to do is go in with this green concealer stick from Maybelline. By the way, everything I mention in the video, I will have linked down below. Just don't know. My grammar today is awful. But what I'm going to do is just take this and kind of just really kind of dot that on there. So you see the faintest bit of green concealer on there. You really don't want to overdo it with the concealer, just because, like I said, I'm not wearing foundation. And sometimes if you overuse your concealer, it can tend to look a little bit cakey under a normal colored concealer. So just try to use a little bit. If you need more, apply more. But I am again just kind of going to push this into my skin with my finger and blend it out that way. The last cream coverage part is just going to be to add a little dot of concealer that matches your skin tone. So just a little dot, like that big. And again, I'm going to go in with my finger and just kind of lightly dab. So once you're done with your normal skin tone colored concealer, you're just going to go ahead and pat that in, set it with a translucent setting powder. The one I'm using is from Flower Beauty. Again, I'll have it linked down below. But what's really important is that you push it into your skin and you don't swipe. So just like this. Last but not least, this part is totally optional. I'm just going to create a kind of like a faux beauty mark or faux freckle, just one though, right on top of where that pimple was. To do this, I'm going to use the ColourPop brow pencil, because this is it's a really fine point, so it's not going to be like a huge circle on my face. So now that that little freckle faux beauty mark is drawn on there, I'm just going to go ahead and set it with a little bit of translucent powder. The reason I'm doing this is because this ColourPop brow pencil is really, really cream-like. So if I accidentally touch it with my finger, the heat from my finger is going to disrupt what's set there, and it's kind of going to smear that. So to avoid that, I'm just pressing with a little bit of translucent powder. Alright, so here is the end result from covering up that pimple. As you can see, it looks pretty natural. It just looks like a freckle. Doesn't look like there's even a pimple underneath there, so successful. Alright guys, so this is the finished look. As you can see, it's super easy and simple to cover up a pimple. That rhymed. Unintentionally though, so that's cool. But yeah, it's really easy. This is how I cover my pimples up all the time, and it's super helpful for those of you who don't want to wear foundation in attempts to cover up a pimple, because I'll be honest, I don't wear foundation every day, and this is always how I cover up my pimples, except if I do foundation, maybe I'll skip the green primer or something, but this is pretty much how I do it every single time. And I'm never having people coming up and saying, oh, when did you get that freckle? You know, stuff like that, because it just looks so natural. But this is how I do it. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!